Welcome back to another episode of In Good Company. Jeremiah and Judah. This episode will be, like we said in the last episode with Viv, kind of tailoring it a little bit more to be more about our lives, filmmakers in LA, you know, making movies, writing movies, stuff like that.
Conversational, elevated.
Yeah. Okay, so Jeremiah saw a movie recently.
I saw a movie last night.
And?
I was really excited going in. Keke Palmer.
Oh, okay, yes.
Issa, produced by Issa. It's called One of Them Days. And I'm not going to shit on any movies. I think it's incredibly hard to make a movie. And I completely respect, you know, that there's not a lot of like completely, you know, mostly, you know, kind of black tailored movies in terms of black cast, you know, director, producers, the whole thing. So like quite an achievement because there's not tons of those historically. But man, I struggled.
Why did you struggle? I've not seen it yet.
Struggled.
I wanted to see it.
Oh man, dude, I almost walked out.
Whoa.
Yeah, like halfway through,
If only Viv was here.
I almost walked out of the fucking movie, man.
Why was it so bad?
It just wasn't funny. Like, you know when you write so many jokes in like each line of dialogue to land a joke? Like it felt like
they're setting it up for so long and then it hits and it doesn't really have the...
No, not even that. It felt like every line they were trying to work in a joke every line of dialogue. And it was like I was just bombarded, force-fed these jokes that weren't quite landing, that weren't quite set up properly.
So there wasn't the payoffs. There wasn't the build-up to a...
Mostly no. And then it got a little ridiculously silly to the point where I'm like, they took a little bit from... They're trying to take what Friday did so well and reinvent it in a modern way. And it just got out of control and silly.
Yeah.
You know, same type of characters. You could really say it's like a 1-for-1 copy of like Friday, but like two women.
Friday is the writing and then just incredible actors.
Performances and the writing and the times. It like was met perfectly. And this movie tried to reinvent that. They try to do what Bridesmaids did with Hangover, which just they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids is like 1-to-1 to Hangover, but it's equally as good.
Yeah, it's funny.
Where One of Them Days is not Friday. And it's not even close.
But it's trying to be that.
In a lot of ways, yes.
Yeah. Or at least inspired by it.
When you look at like there's a villain, there's like, you know, like the homeless character, you know, it's the two girls, like, you know.
Same neighborhood.
Same type of neighborhood. It's smoky and, you know, it's just, I really struggled, man. And I wanted it to be good.
What did the person you saw it with think?
Awful.
Really?
Yes. We both almost walked out.
A movie's got to be exceptionally bad in order for you to almost walk out of it. I've only walked out of a handful of movies in my life. One of them being one I think that you liked was Cloud Atlas.
I did like it.
Me and my sister Taylor walked out of that movie. I was like, what are
My
we
family
watching?
still gives me shit for making them watch Cloud Atlas.
I couldn't do it.
It is awful.
It was bad.
I don't know why I liked it. Maybe because Halle Berry was in it.
But a movie like, there's something when a movie's bad like that when you go to the movies because it's such a fun experience.
Yeah.
And then for it to suck and you're just like, I want to forfeit my $20 and leave.
That's why I stayed. I was like, man, I paid money. We snuck in snacks from Erewhon. Like, we went through so much work to get this popcorn and chocolates in here. Like, we might as well just stay through. And I was like hoping it would get better. But also, I think there is something to learn from bad movies too. Like, there was a couple things I took away that I liked. I certainly like, you know, for someone who's writing a script now, it gave me a boost of confidence in my writing.
And that's what I was going to ask. When you see a movie that you're not necessarily a fan of, now that you are writing and you're, you know, months, over almost a year into the writing process, doesn't that change how you look at a movie that you don't like? You can be like, oh, for this reason or that reason.
Well, writing a comedy was arguably the hardest type of screenplay structure to write. And I'm writing a satire. So you come back to it 2-3 days later, you hate it. You're like, this joke is corny. This joke doesn't work. You know, are they talking too much? And so I have mad respect for any movie trying to accomplish that. You know, in my opinion, I didn't love the movie last night. I'm not saying don't go see it. You know, like go support SZA, go support, you know, Issa Rae. And I mean, Keke Palmer, I'm in love with. I mean, she's the best.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who doesn't love Keke Palmer, and she steals the show. But I really wanted to like it.
I was excited to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I would just wait.
I'm going to see it and have my own 2 cents.
I'd wait for streaming at this point. I've
Really?
seen it for you, yeah.
Dang.
I'd just wait till you're on an airplane or just watch at the crib, dude.
Dang.
Yeah, but hey, you win some, you lose some.
I mean, that's kind of the thing, though, in the last, I don't know, year or so, especially since COVID, with the difficulties of making movies. And I mean, filmmaking was down like 60% to 2022, and then since then it's down 29%. So the percentages just keep getting, smaller of like people working in film, whether that's crews and directors, actors, whatever. And I think the quality has also gone some.
What are people
like?
Watching?
It's harder to. People are watching TV shows and stuff. Like, for instance, we can get into this now or later, but like there's so many TV shows. There's some that I really like. There's some that I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But we both saw Nobody Wants This, and I thought that was genius writing.
Oh, fantastic. And I didn't want to watch it at first, but my mom and my sister kept telling me, oh, you got to watch this TV show. It's so funny. I like Kristen Bell. Who's the lead male character?
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody. I don't know what he's been in, but I've seen him in stuff.
He's in the OC. He's classic OC.
He's
I've never
like
seen the OC.
heartthrob OC. Like he's the reason I wanted to watch that show, because I'm not a huge Kristen Bell fan, but like
Really?
whoa.
See, I love her in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I just don't.
She's good.
But I love him.
But
And
okay, has
he
your
made me watch the show.
husband seen it?
Yeah. Oh, like an episode, but
And
he
did he like
refuses to watch it because he feels like it's a quote unquote chick flick, like rom-com thing. And I'm just like, good TV that makes you laugh and makes you happy, shut up and just watch
It
the show.
literally feels great watching it. Like, you see the struggles and everything. I think it's one of the best written shows I've seen.
Why is there this like atmosphere around like guys and chick flicks and rom-coms? Like they're great. I think it's a thing. Like
I think it's a thing too, because like we'll talk about a rom-com and I'll go home and say to my husband, like, you've seen this, right? No, literally never seen any of them.
What?
He's never seen.
I thought this was so good, and I watched it with my sister Taylor, and we couldn't stop watching it. The writing is so good, the acting is great, and it's kind of like.
And culturally, I don't know a lot about like Jewish culture, so like
I learned stuff.
I'm sure if I was Jewish, like some of the jokes would land even more. And even that being said, I found it extremely funny. I found it very witty,
very intelligent.
It was so well done, very well crafted. And the acting was also really good.
Yeah, when you put that on your story, it was going nuts. People were like,
bro, my story was blowing up, Courtney.
Yeah.
That had to have been like one of my top performing stories of the year.
But you did like multiple too.
I did.
You were multiple sliding on it.
I did.
And because it's a great show.
And it was just like great because like it was such a great engaging moment for like any girl that I liked was gonna like probably respond to me. Oh my God. Oh, you watch this too?
Fishing with Dynamite.
Let's watch it together.
I think it was one of the best things that I watched on TV in a very long time. I've kind of shifted from movies to TV. Thankfully, there's a lot of really good series I was so late to. Like, I just started Suits last year. I just started Ozarks last year. So like I have a lot to catch up on, and I love binging. That's why I love that show, because it was like an 8-hour rom-com.
Yeah, literally, you have 10 episodes that are 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But then it ended. I was like, there's not a second season yet?
I think it's coming now, right?
Yeah.
Season 2 is coming.
Netflix said it was the fastest season 2 renewal in history of Netflix series.
Wow.
That's wild.
It did.
Because don't they have Stranger Things?
Yeah. They have. But they had House of Cards, they had Ozarks, they have, Bridgerton. Like,
but think about
Netflix
this.
got TV show hits.
This is way easier. You could film a whole second season of this in a month.
What's interesting
is
that
I mean? Like Stranger Things is really grandiose.
It is.
This you could go shoot this.
Simple. This is simple.
Yeah.
Simpler. But simple is, it's interesting that like Netflix has this like TV show formula down to a science. Their movie formula,
not
really.
I can't think of
how many Netflix movies you were like, yeah, that was awesome.
Not a lot.
I can't even think of one.
They can't.
I'm sure there is one, but in my head, I'm like, maybe there's sprinkle in a few.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a Netflix original that I really
but none of them have been nominated for Oscars, so none that is.
Well, they won. They won an Oscar. Where you look it up, they won for that Italian movie.
Which one?
Netflix won their first Oscar for
an Italian movie.
What was the name of it? Netflix first Oscar.
The Life Ahead.
Is that new?
No, it was what 5, 6 years.
2020. The Life Ahead is a 2020 drama about a Holocaust survivor who befriends a street kid she takes in after he robs her.
Okay, so they've had like one.
Okay, so what? Okay, this gets me to the movie that we both loved that we saw, Holocaust movie, which you brought up too.
Well,
right?
Yeah, Holocaust adjacent. It's
Holocaust
coming
adjacent.
from it.
Yeah,
yeah.
The Brutalist.
Best
movie I've seen this year. Have you seen it, Courtney?
I have not.
Oh my goodness. Have you heard of it with Adrian Brody?
I've heard of it, but I just hear also like 3.5 hours and like, is it worth it?
Yes, it's worth it. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. The Brutalist is
for me, like There's no way I could sell my sister ever on going to I can't get her to go to a movie now. If I was like, Callie, it's like runtime's 3:45, 15-minute intermission. Like,
but the intermission was so cool.
It was nice, yeah.
Like,
I think that movie, best movie I've seen in 2024. Dialogue, soundtrack, acting,
color, everything.
Everything was so well crafted for that movie. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's a 15-minute intermission.
And the intermission's awesome. You're at the theater and it literally pulls up on the screen, says intermission with a 15-minute clock that runs down to 0. And you're like, I can go get snacks. I can go to the bathroom. I could take a break.
Which is what we did. We got snacks. We went to the bathroom. We kind of digested the first 2 hours.
Which was a lot to digest.
Came back, sat down, still had like a minute and a half to burn, got comfortable. And then it kind of feels like you're starting a whole new movie a little bit in a way, in like the best way. And it's not like you're just sitting there 4 hours like holding your pee or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get up, it's refreshing. I mean, that's why it's winning all these awards. I mean, I'm sure everyone's going to see them. If you haven't heard of it, you're going to see it over the Oscars. It's going to like crush.
I guarantee you he wins the Oscar.
I don't see anybody beating him.
It was one of the best. It was almost better than The Pianist.
I thought it was better than Pianist. I thought
his performance was absolutely spectacular.
I thought it was better than Pianist.
The shots in it, The Brutalist is, everyone should go see it. But from like a filmmaker standpoint, it's a $6 million movie that does not look like a $6 million movie. Like all of the money is on the screen.
I still don't know how they made it.
I have no idea.
I really still don't know how they made it. It's like a wonder.
It really is, because they build the whole thing in front of you. And part of me wonders if they did do some of the Star Wars type shots where they're miniatures and we just don't know it.
I read the whole Italian, all of it they did there.
Really?
Yeah, he like had to convince and plead to the financiers to go there. Because like, no, we could just like kind of recreate it in America. He's like, no, we have to go to Italy. Like it's like a must.
And those scenes are
it's my favorite of my movie. It's the favorite of the movie is the Italian marble stone yard.
Incredible.
Yeah.
There's a scene in it.
Because it's eerie.
Yeah.
It's
eerie.
But
also there's a scene in it that is so you, and they're waiting on this Italian guy. This doesn't give anything about the movie. Yeah. Right? They're waiting on this Italian guy who's late, and they're meeting at a coffee shop, and the guy's like, where's this guy? He goes, don't worry, he comes down from the mountain, he'll be here. And the Italian guy shows up, and he's super late, and he meets them both. He goes, let me grab a coffee, and then we go. And it was so, like, running a little bit late, but I'm still grabbing my Joe.
It does a great job of, like, juxtaposing, like, the parallel of American culture. Like, right now, I want it. Like, why is he late? Like, let's get the fuck up out of here. I'm not waiting another minute because my ego's so big.
Yeah.
In Italian culture, like, I'm 10 minutes late, but hey, wait another few minutes. I got to grab a cappuccino.
Yeah,
like,
it was so good.
It is. It's like, I just love how
that
movie is so carefully crafted and so thoughtful with that. Even that little scene of showing that cultural divide, like, you can miss that and not show that. And it just helps your movie be that much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was like on this end with it, and then Adrian Brody's character is like right in the middle of like art and patience and the beauty in that. Yeah. And I think the movie plays, like, there's shots in the movie that are just like,
if you've been on the fence about seeing The Brutalist, just go early. Like, I wouldn't go to a 7 o'clock movie. 7 is as late as I'd go.
I asked you, I was like, do you want to go to the 8 o'clock? And you were like, nah,
I told him no.
We're going to be home at 1 a.m.
What time did we go?
We went to the 4 p.m. at Century City. We went to 4 p.m. We still got home at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, you still got home at 9. So like the latest I would go is like 7.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get home at midnight. Not too late. You still go to bed.
But it was so worth it.
Yeah.
It was
wonderful.
Such a great
Go
movie.
see it. It's going to like rock you.
Did y'all see Wicked?
I did.
Did you?
Not seen
because
Wicked
a lot
was
of
great.
people,
Wicked was fantastic.
Well, a lot of people are comparing, Wicked is the Broadway is a part 1, part 2 that they do an intermission in. And a lot of people are saying, well, they did it for The Brutalist. Like, should they have released
both,
Wicked in a part 1, part 2 setup like that?
Because I saw that with my sister, I was kind of annoyed.
I didn't even know there was a part 2. I didn't know anything about Wicked when I went into it, so I had no clue that there was a whole second half of the story.
That they haven't filmed yet.
They filmed it. It's already filmed.
Done.
They filmed them at the same time.
It's like Dune. No, it's like Dune 1, Dune 2.
Okay, but those were filmed separately, right?
Would you have sat through a 15-minute intermission for Dune 2?
Yes.
I would have.
You and I at Chinese Man, we were just
I would have.
I'll never forget Dune Part 1, or was it Dune Part 2? We're sitting there, and I look over at Jeremiah, and his chin is on the ground, and he's just like a little kid. Yeah, like, we were just like,
Dune 2 is so much fun. According to your question, I have not seen Wicked, but I know it does lend itself towards kids more than the other movies we're mentioning.
Yeah.
So like, am I gonna bring like Cash, Cruz, and Carter to a 4.5 hour extravaganza?
True. The
like,
audience is different.
You can't. I just don't think you can do that with Wicked. Wicked, you got part 1, part 2, and I think it's completely fine. Dune, like it's rated R, well, it's PG-13 R. Like it's an adult crowd. We can sit through 4 hours, no problem.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
the sitting through it is interesting because even that there's some movies I'll watch and I want to look at my phone.
Yeah,
and I think we've talked about it before. We are in like everything moving quickly, and for a movie like that, you really have to just sink in. And if you can disassociate yourself from this device that is constantly stealing our attention, and turn it off and just watch the screen. My favorite parts, we talked about it. My favorite parts of The Brutalist were the moments that it gets to like breathe, where the shots are a little longer, where they're not cutting to make it action packed. Like they're just sitting talking. And if you really pay attention to what they're saying, it's fascinating.
I feel like that's a huge reason why Gladiator, there's a lot of reasons why Gladiator 2 wasn't great. But Gladiator 1, those moments that you're just explaining, like where it breathes and like the scene, like you just feel so much, like you feel so many different emotions. And Gladiator 2, I was just like up and down, I couldn't process any of the emotion in the movie. So maybe, I think we probably will see a lot of these movies split like this with an intermission.
I mean, that first Gladiator, my favorite shot of that movie probably is the bird at the beginning. And he's about to go to war with all the...
It's a great shot.
What's the line he says? Shouldn't people know when they're conquered? And he goes, would you?
Yeah.
But he's watching the little bird and the bird flies away and it brings him back to the battle. And there's no dialogue. It's a slow shot. And it's such a
symbolic of him wanting just to be free and be out of war and be home with his family.
Yeah.
But I think my question, for both of you is our cell phones the single, I don't want to say singular, but the most important reason why movies are struggling?
Yes, 100%. We have short form content where everything's quicker. So why would you go to a movie when you have it on your phone? But I can feel it with myself. It was scary the other day. I was watching something and I was just watching something on my computer and then just picked up my phone to get stimulation from whatever app I was going to go to.
It's just habit. It's just...
And it's scary.
Addiction.
It's addiction to all these things at one time.
Because do you not feel like my sister, for example, you have kids, me and Judah don't have that we know of. And, and you know, my sister's, I'm like, Kai loves TV shows. My sister loves them. She watches all of them. She does it for her job, as we know. She has the bachelor party. She watches all the reality TV shows, dating shows, etc. And she's like, it's mindless. It helps me unplug, and they're funny, and they have this element of drama that's just like kind of, you know, has this, I guess, addicting quality to it. This toxicity is like intoxicating, but you don't have to pay attention and sit there. And then, because you can watch it, be on your phone, watch it, be on your phone, and you can sit in the comfort of your own home. And so I'm just like wondering if cell phones ultimately are the root of all of it, you know, and now the streamers know that especially post-COVID.
Attention spans are gone.
Everybody just wants to sit at home post-COVID. No one wants to go to movie theaters. And it's just, I think it's just has such a damning effect on movie culture.
I mean, The Brutalist, Brutalist, totally different movie at home.
People clapped.
Yeah.
People clapped at the end of The Brutalist.
But you need to see that in a theater.
Absolutely.
You need to see Dune Part 2 in a theater.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
And you just need to put your phone away. Like, turning my phone off, it's one of my biggest pleasures that I get now, is where I literally will turn my phone off.
Courtney, do you remember what it was like before cell phones? Like, do you have like a recollection of like, how old were you when you got your first phone?
I got my first phone in 8th grade. No, I got my first phone in 5th grade. I got a smartphone in 8th grade. That's because my parents were traveling. I was separated from my parents a lot. They wanted me to have a phone, and all my friends' parents were freaking out
but your
that
first
I
phone
was
was like
allowed
a
to have
flip
a phone.
And how old are you?
I was in 5th grade. I was like 12.
And how old are you now?
31.
So yeah, but it was a flip phone. You weren't scrolling through stuff. It was literally meant to make calls.
No, but in 8th grade, the iPhone came out. So I had a smartphone. I had a little microcomputer in my hand since 8th grade.
Well, I'm several years in front of you. So that's a big difference in the technology age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get my first phone until high school. I didn't have a phone until I was a senior.
I mean, dude, I had a
Motorola
Razr, bro.
Yeah. Oh, the Razrs went crazy. Or the chirp phone.
I had that, and then I had that.
The sidekicks.
Okay, the Pearl BlackBerry was the king of all phones before the iPhone.
I loved my BlackBerry.
Pearl Blackberries were the best. I mean, but basically my whole adolescence, you know, teenage, I had no phone.
Well, we just had to, Mila will come home and she like wants to watch TV. Like
Mila's
she's
Courtney's
not,
daughter.
Yeah, Mila's my daughter. She's not playing soccer right now. She's not, it's the first time in the last 2 or 3 years she's not in a single sport. So like she doesn't really have a lot going on, and she'll be talking about TV in the car.
Whoa.
Problematic.
Yeah.
All of a sudden in the last few weeks, her attitude is just through the roof disrespectful. And I told Gray, I was like, let's just trial what happens if we take the TV away. We said, Mila, you haven't done anything specifically, but we're turning the TV off for 2 weeks. In 3 days, different kid.
Yeah.
Reading books,
if she's watching the stuff that people watch on the TV, like you said, it's drama.
Well, it's also the attention span, though. Like the average like song on the radio is shorter. I looked up in here to see the length of movie times, if it's gotten shorter. It says that classic Hollywood films from the 30s to the 50s were about 90 minutes. Blockbuster era, 70s and 90s, it increased 100 minutes to 120 minutes. Modern era, 2000s till now, it does say that blockbusters are still around that longer length, but what's releasing on streaming platforms is way shorter. Yeah. So the average movie length on a streaming platform is going to stay around that like 80 to 90 minute mark. It says the average length is 90 to 100 minutes, but still in the theater, it's still at that like 90 minutes.
Okay, so basically what that statistic is saying is your good movies are longer.
Yeah.
The crap they unload onto streamers just to have content is shorter.
Yeah, to double down on what you were saying earlier about Netflix, I looked up what their top movies were like ever. I've only heard of 2 of them and seen one of them. The top 4 original Netflix movies are Red Notice in 2021. Don't even know what that is.
No.
Red Notice was The Rock and right?
No.
Or it was Ryan Reynolds.
No, you're right, but just no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Don't Look Up. Never heard of it.
Oh, that was the one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
And Jonah Hill, no.
No.
Bird Box, I do remember that being a big deal.
Didn't mind it.
It's all right.
And then Glass Onion, which I did really enjoy.
You liked the first one more.
First one was great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the attention spans are just getting smaller. But that's why almost when you see a movie like The Brutalist, it's so nice to watch.
Yeah. Man, I just wonder.
Each frame was a painting.
Do you think the pendulum will swing back towards a middle ground?
I think so. I think kind of just like we're saying, you enjoyed The Brutalist and you would continue sitting through it. I think the pendulum always swings and history repeats itself, even the way we're reformatting your show. And like, I think that we will see art. It's like seeing movie stars like buying out movie theaters that are going out of business and investing in them. Like, I think we care. I hope maybe that's just my hope.
Well, even my sister got into it because my dad's like, the kids need to be outside more. The kids need to be outside more. My sister does a fantastic job raising her kids. She's got 3 jobs. Her husband has a job. It's tough raising 3 kids. And in times of convenience, just, I'm sure you've been there, Courtney. Just even if it's a game where they're learning, it's still a screen.
Oh yeah.
And my dad had a point, like, my dad being raised, us being raised, I was outside all fucking day. Do you see kids outside anymore?
Do you see kids with casts anymore? First day of school when I was a kid, 8 people showed up with a cast.
They
showed up with carpal tunnel.
The first week of elementary school, like kids coming home with, everyone's got a cast on, like Band-Aids all over the place. Yeah. Like, we used to, in fucking first grade, we used to play bowling with rocks. I'll never forget. We like line up like these like rocks, and we had like we'd bowl. And I'll never forget this. My best friend Carl Horton, CJ, we call him CJ. This kid Zach was just being like, like a little dickhead first grader, and he wouldn't move. And Carl's like, "Hey, I'm gonna bowl. If you don't move, like, bro,
you're gonna hit with a rock."
Carl tossed the rock, hit his eye. Bro, he had like 38, almost lost his eye, first grade. I still remember this.
Whoa.
I still have this memory. Came to school, like Carl had to do a whole apology, first grade apology.
My first grade apology is so funny. I could just picture him standing there. I'm sorry.
Dude, I still remember my first grade teacher was Mrs. Goldman. My first day on school, I got punched in the stomach. It was a little first grade gang. Like, I was in New York, bro. I'm telling you, like, we were just outside having fun, getting in trouble, getting in fights, just doing things like boys should be doing.
Yep.
And it's just an interesting time.
It's different now.
Man.
I'll never forget. There's Mrs. Walton, 3rd grade. Love you, Miss Walton. I had like wall balls from recess.
Yeah.
Like the little racket balls.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stop playing with it
to love
at my
wall
desk.
balls.
And she's like, "Give me that."
Yeah.
And she put it up on top of the shelves. And she's like, "You can have it back at the end of the day." And I was annoyed. So at the end of the day, she goes, grab me a chair, I'll get your thing. I don't remember this being malicious. I gave her a chair with wheels, and she went up to grab it and broke her arm. Her arm snaps in half, and everyone's like, oh my God, someone grab it. I go to the whiteboard and grab the little emergency thing, which has our classroom on it, and sprint down to the office. I was like, this. And she's like, what happened? I was like, Miss Walton broke her arm. And sure enough, this lady was in a cast in a sling for 3 weeks because of and I had to do the whole apology thing where I'm bawling. You know, when you're a kid and you're crying in front of somebody, and I'm just sorry, Miss Walton. And I felt terrible, but I needed that wall ball.
You would give her a chair with wheels.
And she just, she was just done so.
Well, you know what's interesting is as a kid is like.
Compared to now, it's like, give me your iPad. Give me that iPad.
How history repeats itself. My sister's kids are going through their Michael Jackson phase right now, which I've shown you guys.
So good.
And I'm showing them Jungle Book. I'm showing them all the movies we came up on. But I'm like remembering like seeing Home Alone for this first time. And like you come home from the movies and you're doing these things and you're enacting these things and you're getting in trouble. And I don't know. I just feel like movies and music, they intersect. And I think they're so important for like child rearing or just, you know, learning how to tap into this creativity. And you see the kids are dancing. You know what I mean? I guess you have like what, Mr. Blue now, Beast and Mr. Blue. Is that Bluey? Bluey. Yeah. You have all these like, I'm trying to stay hip with the young shit. I'm just like, damn,
Bluey
I don't really know.
Blippi, and there's a lot of them, but some of them, you know, the shows really are bad for the kids. Like they talked about Coco Melon. Like they did a study that like Coco Melon is destroying kids' brains.
Why?
Because it's just like, it's so mesmerizing. It's like cutting every half a second, and it's like everything in it so fast. Versus Bluey, like you'll notice now, they move really slow, and it's supposed to be like health in a healthy way, engaging with the kids.
We're frying our brains, dude.
Well, that's actually a really interesting thing, Cordy, because I haven't really thought about what this like new formatting is doing to our brains and our kids' brains, and like how like all this quick gratification every second, every half second is like teaching you to be impatient, teaching you to like.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Mila's attitude. We turn the TV off and like she's helping me make dinner. You know, versus like, where's my food? I'm hungry. You know, it's totally different.
Eating her chicken nuggets in front of an iPad.
Exactly. I will say, and this could be a hot take, I do think it's way more healthy to hand over like a Nintendo Switch. That's like, they say that doctors that play video games make less mistakes. I think that it can like help some hand-eye coordination and like, you know, little things like that. So I do think that like engaging in some way is better than just being receptive.
Yeah, than just grabbing your little iPad.
I completely agree. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a great take. I mean, I just think like not everything's supposed to be easy. Like making a meal, it's not easy. It takes work. You got to prep.
Patience. It takes patience.
Why should that payoff be any different for a movie or a TV show or learning? Like it takes time. You got to put in some effort and you'll receive something back, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
Yeah. I mean, I think movies will go back to that. And like our mutual friend was like, should movies be that long? Should there be an intermission? I really enjoyed it. It was a really nice change of pace. So would I be open to seeing another one like that? Yeah. And the funny thing is, I throw on old movies.
Yeah.
And they're a lot longer.
If you think Dune could redo it now, having seen what Brutalist done, I wonder if they would do the 15-minute intermission.
I mean, there is a point to the fact, though, that like Dune will make double the money.
Then there's the money component. Yep. There is the money component.
Yeah, but if you look at Dune and their budget, strictly that. You know what I mean? Brutalist is a $6 million movie.
Yeah.
Dune is 100.
They got to split it up.
They have to split it up just to get their money back.
Probably same with Wicked.
Wicked's crazy budget. I mean, those are practical sets they're building and really grandiose. The Brutalist, there'd be no point to do that.
Yeah.
But it was so good. I hope that people, and that is just a filmmaker's preference.
For sure.
It's filmmakers being like, these are the type of movies I make. These are the type of movies I like. Like, I had a huge run. My mom was just visiting, and we took her to Musso and Frank's. And then we went home and watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And they're at Musso and Frank's in the movie. And every single one of his movies, you know it's not going to be what you want. It's going to be what Tarantino wants.
For sure.
And he's got really great taste. So if we have more artists that are true to themselves, that are making art that they like, regardless of what your attention span is or what you're looking for, if they make stuff that's authentic to them, you're gonna have these filmmakers that are really great and they make good movies.
I also can't damn somebody for wanting to do Fast and Furious 20 because they're giving you a $100 million check and change your whole family's legacy.
Yo, wait, what were we talking about the other day? And I was cracking up when you said it. You were like, yeah, it's a Fast and Furious of this.
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, because the new Jurassic Park trailer came out.
It's Fast and Furious for dinosaurs.
Hot take.
It is. Jurassic Park now has become Fast and Furious for dinosaurs.
I've just never been able to get into Jurassic Park.
The
I've
first
seen,
one's
like,
a masterpiece.
One of them. I've seen
first,
the one with Jeff Goldblum is so good.
I think the second one kind of goes hard too. The first two were like really fire. I used to hide it in my bed in the first one. I was so scared of the T-Rex.
They're terrifying.
But it's just, I understand it. It's just...
Well, it's similar to Fast and Furious. They started off as car movies, and now we're in space. Robin Banks.
All these dudes are like
haven't seen past like
top
4 or 5
espionage agents in the world with no training. It's out of control.
It's all about family.
No, I think we talked about it on an older episode where it was like someone's interviewing Ludacris, like, why are you still doing these movies and not going back to music? And he's like,
cheddar,
20 mil.
And I can't knock that. Like,
200
get your bread,
mil or whatever it was.
I just think like this short term, like, I don't even know what I want to call
it. The storyline doesn't even matter in those movies anymore.
It's just like, let's make this short term movie that we know isn't really any good, but we know we're gonna make a lot of money. I think that like just long term does so much damage.
But that's from a filmmaker standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Well, and to your sister's point about like TV that just is kind of like feel
unplugged.
good. You don't really
Mindless.
have. I would say Fast and Furious could also fall into that category.
It is. It is, but it's also falls in the category of what Coco Melon's doing to people's brains. It's just loud. It's explosive. It's quick.
Overstimulation.
It's fast. Overstimulation. And then you can't appreciate The Brutalist.
Yeah.
My sister can't even people can't appreciate those movies anymore.
Like nothing happened. It's like, no, a lot happened if you just sat there and watched. It's about, and that's, I mean, maybe that's another thing is compared to an epic movie, character pieces. Like it's about a character. It's not about this grandiose thing. It's about a character. That's about him. The movie is about him and his journey, which is an awesome story.
I do want to give someone their flowers. We don't have to talk about the movie, but Nosferatu, have you heard of it? Robert Eggers is the director. Listen, The Idol on HBO arguably might have been the worst show I have ever seen in my life. But Lily Rose Depp is such a good actress. And I know, don't wrap her into how bad that show was.
It was terrible.
Because her performance in Nosferatu, I don't know, Judah, genuinely, if more than 3 actresses could have done it.
Really?
It was mind-blowing.
I'm seeing it this week with our friend Matt.
It's mind-blowing, her performance. I sat there after the movie and I was like, how many actresses could have done this? Like the way she did it. Like maybe 1 or 2.
I mean, look at the Brutalist. How many guys could do that? Less than 5.
Ray Fiennes.
Yeah.
Daniel Day.
Daniel Day could do it. For Daniel Day would be great with it.
I'm going on a limb and say Sam Rockwell. That'd be
that'd be a totally different movie,
that's
but
my
interesting.
Ace, he'd be my ace in the hole to do it.
That'd be interesting.
Because I think his range is pretty spectacular.
His is great.
But it's less than 5.
Like Fassbender could do it, like his rendition, but it'd be totally. I think Adrian Brody's performance was just like so.
Maybe Fassbender. I don't know, like the emotionality part of it. I don't know if his would connect to me as much as. Have you seen?
Adrian Brody has very you feel for him. He bleeds what's the word I'm looking for? Empathetic. Like you're so empathetic for his character.
And Guy Pearce in that movie, I don't know if he's going to win Best Supporting Actor. I haven't seen a Best Supporting Actor performance better than that this year.
He was incredible.
Yeah.
I want to do the blind rankings list. Do you have yours?
Yeah, I have mine.
I can go first if you're not ready. I'm stoked.
You go first. So I'll put mine up.
All right. I'm going to do all of these. I'm okay to do all of them, right, Courtney?
We're doing, instead of a top 5, we're doing top 7.
We're doing a top 7 blind ranking list. Brad Pitt. Your list is Brad Pitt movies. All right, but you have 7. You have
seven movies. My top 7 from 1 to 7, 1 being the best, 7 being
your least favorite.
My least favorite of Brad Pitt.
And you do not know what's coming next.
Are we doing like his favorite or like performance or like overall movie? Like what defines the ranking here?
Whatever you feel in your gut.
Okay, so I'll just do it encompassing in my performance, movie, all of it.
Yeah, if you like the movie or okay. So let's start off with the good one here. Moneyball.
Oof. 7.
I had a feeling with that one. Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
6.
Really? Okay. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
4.
Fight Club.
2.
Troy.
What do I have right now?
Right now you have 2 Fight Club, 4 Once Upon a Time, 7 Moneyball, 6 Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
5 for Troy.
5 for Troy. Okay. Fury.
Fuck, man. Wait, can I replace them?
Nope.
You can't.
Locked in.
Fuck,
locked.
Man.
I knew I should. I'm glad I saved that
I thought
one.
you were going to pick better Brad Pitt movies.
Well, these are great Brad Pitt movies.
Fury's
was what?
Mid at best.
Okay, well, your bottom one that you have open.
Well, I get one to replace, don't I?
All right, we'll give you one replace.
No, I'm vetoing that rule.
Right.
It ruined
Vetoed.
Gabe's ranking in our next episode.
Your only place, the lowest is you put it as 3.
3.
And then your number 1 is Buongiorno, Inglorious.
That's
a good list.
When I think back about Brad Pitt, I just like can't not picture him in an Ocean's 11 outfit.
Okay, I was gonna do that, but he's not the lead ensemble, so I left it out.
He's co-lead, isn't he? Him and George co-lead it.
Let's see whose face is bigger on the banner.
Okay, so yours goes 1 Inglorious, 2 Fight Club, 3 Fury, 4 Once Upon a Time, 5 Troy, 6 Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and 7 Moneyball. What would you have done if I gave you Legends of the Fall?
Ooh, that's 3.
I wasn't sure if
I wasn't
sure if I could go.
The only thing if I had to redo that list, I would punt for Fury. I'm more mad about Fury being 3. Fury goes immediately to 7, and I would take Moneyball.
Really?
I'm cool with Moneyball 3. I'm like, that's a great movie, great performance, fine.
Fury's great.
Are there any movies he left off that you would want to add in?
I mean, 7?
7 was on there.
7?
Oh, you thought? So you
I thought 7 was coming. I thought 7 was coming.
Box?
I was like, okay, 7's coming. I mean, there's so many movies he left off.
I could have. That's why I said this list was hard to make. I could have put Burn After Reading on there. He's fucking great in that.
Snatch.
I
thought Snatch was coming, which I love. I thought not Burn. I didn't think Burn was coming. I thought
Snatch is huge. 7.
7, and we're missing one.
Dude, he has a laundry list. Every movie the guy's. I wanted to put World War Z on it.
World War Z is fantastic.
Fantastic. All right, so that's his list. We'll put it on there. Sorry about number 3.
We're still missing one big Brad Pitt movie.
What is it?
We're missing like a huge...
I mean, we got Benjamin Button's huge.
Oh, man. There's one. That's a monster one.
Yeah.
I hated that movie.
Really?
Hot take.
You hated Benjamin Button?
I hated it.
All right, well, give me your...
Pull up a Brad Pitt movie that we're missing.
I'm pulling up.
I know we're missing like a big one.
I mean, he's got tons of big ones. Meet Joe Black.
Not that big.
Meet Joe Black is people say his top 3 movie for him.
That's a hot take.
It is my mom's favorite Brad Pitt movie. Besides Legends of the Fall, A River Runs Through It.
Meet Joe Black is a top 3 is a big... That's a hot take.
Do you like River Runs Through It?
It's not my top 7.
It's a good one.
Okay. Legends of the Fall, 7. 12 Monkeys, Fight Club, Snatch, Ocean's 11, Troy, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Glorious Bastards, Moneyball, World War Z, 12 Years a Slave, Fury, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I guess he
12 Years a Slave. Why is that?
I guess he did name him. I guess he did. I thought he was in something else.
He's in a lot though. All right, give me your blind ranking.
Okay, we're blind.
You can throw me some curveballs with it, I guess.
Okay, we're blind ranking
5 movies.
5 movies.
Okay.
And I'm doing specific genres. That way, this is not all over the place. I'm doing sci-fi, which is kind of a unique, niche, category of movies.
It's a great genre.
Okay.
Okay, and it's just 5, 1 through 5.
Okay.
You're
sci-fi.
debating in your head which one to give me first. After that,
I really am. Blade Runner.
The original.
First, both of them. They're both off fire. As a package, Blade Runner.
3.
Terminator.
2.
Fifth Element.
Oh, Multipass.
4. Matrix.
1.
What's left?
You have 1. You have 5.
You're in trouble.
Is it what? Space Odyssey?
Interstellar.
Oh! Okay. Yeah.
No. You can't. You committed too quick.
I think I would stand by with Matrix being my number 1, but I would shift
too.
Everything down and put Stellar at 2.
I'd put Matrix 1 is for sure.
I had Matrix, 2 I had Terminator, 3 was Blade Runners, 4 I had Fifth Element, and then Interstellar at 5.
Fifth Element's so good. Have you seen Fifth Element with Bruce Willis?
Oh, Fifth Element, Multipass?
Never seen it.
Fifth Element. Commendales.
Chris Tucker
is so good.
Chris Tucker's cameo in that movie. His character is so good.
What's his name? Stones. What's
Matthew McConaughey?
No, it's
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
The Stones. And he's got the blood running down his face. The Stones.
That's good.
That was a great list. Phenomenal list.
That's really good.
That was a great list. I thought you were going to throw Alien in there. I thought Alien was.
I had it and I deleted it because I was like, I'll do this again and I'll put like a couple others.
That was good. That was a great list.
That was a fun list.
Do you have a quote from a movie you've seen recently?
My favorite quote is from my favorite movie of all time, Hook. And there's a scene where Hook, Dustin Hoffman is looking at Julia Roberts, who's playing Tinkerbell, and he says, "Death is the only real adventure." And when I unpack that and think in my head, it's the one thing we know nothing about. whatever you believe in, atheist, Christian.
There's no facts
that
on it.
We don't know what happens. And I'm like, that's such an awesome quote. It's the only real adventure we have left. Everything else has been conquered. We know everything else.
If Austin was here, I'd make him give us to a voice.
Yeah, Austin's got an awesome
Shmee. That's a great quote.
Yeah, man.
That's a great.
Thank you.
That's a great one.
What about you?
Mine is a movie I watched recently, and then actually looking at the quote again, kind of reminds me of you a little bit. Yeah. And the quote is, "Do you believe a man can change his destiny? I think a man does what he can until his destiny is revealed to him."
Ooh, why does it make you think of me? It's deep.
It's a great one. It's from Last Samurai. When it's right before they go to one of their last battles, and it's Tom Cruise. And
do you think a man can change his destiny?
Do you believe a man can change his destiny? I think a man does what he can until his destiny is revealed to him. And I thought about with you in just terms of like your life and where you're at now. And now you're like, this is what I've been doing these other things I'm getting through. And now you're like, this is my this is what I need to do. And until you get to that point, you're kind of you're trying, you're doing things. And then you're like, wait, this is it? Yeah. Now I can kind of like target in. And I just think it's such a great quote. 2003, Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
That's a fantastic quote. I mean, because I'm thinking my whole life I'm playing basketball. I have this goal. You know, I'm going to do this till I'm 40. I'm going to make all this money. You know, I'm
doing the best you can.
Yeah. And then you get hurt, you know, which I've talked about obviously in other pods, and your life kind of takes this spiral, and now you're trying to like go back and revert to, you know, it's like fight or flight. You're trying to figure out what your life looks like, you know, at age 30, trying to put pieces together. And then all of a sudden,
your destiny's
you do what you can, and your destiny is kind of in what I feel like is kind of been revealed to what I'm going to do, what I'm called to do. It's actually a really, really good quote.
Pretty good one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it in the movie because I rewatched it last week.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful movie. I love Last Samurai. Tom Cruise. You've seen that, right?
I love Last Samurai.
I mean, we should probably just do like a whole episode on Tom Cruise because he's like
He's the last great superstar.
People go to the movies to see him.
Star.
You know what I mean? Like there's very few people that
a lot of people credit him for like bringing people, you know, because Top Gun 2 was supposed to like, they'd spent so many years like planning it and filming it and all of this, and then coming out of COVID,
putting people back in the seats.
They stopped. Like it was supposed to release, and they pushed it. He was so patient to push it a whole year so that it could get the release that it deserves and not do like a COVID movie release. And it brought the movie theaters back, in my opinion.
That's actually a really good take. I never even like realized that or connected that in my head.
I bet you that is backed by money and stats. I guarantee you when that went to theaters, like I guarantee you that's hard numbers.
No, he really did put everyone's ass back in the movie theater seat to go watch Top Gun 2. And it's kind of carried through until now. Like all the movies that have done well in the theaters, like Dune and Wicked and Oppenheimer doing $1 billion, like
Barbie.
Like maybe none of that really happens the way it happened without Top Gun 2 coming.
I mean, he took like huge risks just insurance-wise shooting that movie.
Yeah, because they filmed it during COVID.
I mean, you could argue Miles Teller doesn't have a whole rebirth of his career. There is no Glenn Powell.
There's no Glenn Powell
like without Tom Cruise's Top Gun 2, everybody. Just like to be clear.
He creates movie stars.
And I like Glenn Powell, and he's having a hell of a 2025 Super Bowl commercial. Was it Ford Ram? Ram. Like the guy's gonna like dominate the next 5 years.
I would even beg that like One Republic kind of had a little comeback from that song. Like Tom Cruise and them called One Republic, said make a song for this. That song, like they hadn't put anything good out in so long.
It's true.
That song comes out. It is the summer song of 2022. Whatever
really
that was. Yeah, 2022.
Damn.
We got to have an old.
Shout out to Tom Cruise. Let's have him on the pod.
Yeah. Come on, Tom. Thank you guys again for listening. It feels great to be back and to be talking about things that we're doing. Thank you guys so much for listening.